All right. We're back up and running. We are back up and running. Just got to take a minute to figure some stuff out here. There we go. We should be back up and running just fine. Ah, oh, shoot. Come on. Trying to do this. Let's figure this out. No. No. Oh, wait, yes. Yes, there we go. Got it. Got it. There we go. Trying to juggle two devices at once and drive at the same time. Yep. So, lost my signal again there. Just long enough to lose the stream. We got 4.5 miles till we're gonna cut through the middle of Lincoln City on Nebraska 2 or US 77, whichever way you want to call it. So you know a lot of history about Nebraska. You grew up here, right? Fill me in, because I don't really know much about any of the history of Nebraska. I know you guys got the Corn Palace here. Now I better slow it down. We're coming into a 65-mile-an-hour zone. And of course, everybody slows down to 50 to go into a 65 from a 75. Don't ask me why. Yep. As a matter of fact, I passed a couple of different cities or towns already today that had a runs a restaurant in them. And I said, hey, somebody told me about this Runza thing last night. I've never actually stopped at one. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to try it one of these days. I think that was probably you that told me about it last night. Look at this guy go. He just realized there's a whole line of trucks and cars here, and he started hammering it to get up here. Watch. Oh, damn. Let's just go ahead and cause an accident. Trying to get on the highway, huh? Oh, wow. You can have them sent on dry ice. Yeah, he did. And he's gone, too. He's out of sight. And I've got a giant patch of absolutely no traffic right behind me. So he didn't even have to do any of that. All he had to do was back off a little bit, and then he could have got on and behind me and got over to the lane he wanted and then taken off. He didn't have to risk everybody's lives.
In 2 miles, take the exit on the right to Nebraska 2 for Whitman.
Yeah, they're kicking up some dust down here in the train yard. They got an awful lot of coal cars sitting here, too. An awful lot of coal cars. Wow. Wonder where they're mining that coal from.
Take the exit on the right to Nebraska 2, then keep left.
Yep. Lots of train cars. Yeah. Yep. Got to wait for the train to go through before you can cross, right?
Take the exit on the right to Nebraska 2, then keep left.
And see, when I was growing up, the little town I grew up in, well, outside of, um, I think the population was like 436, and then
North Street.
now they're up over. I think now they're up over 6,000.
In 1.25 miles, turn right on Nebraska Highway. In 1.25 miles, turn right on Nebraska Highway.
There you go. How's the trees for you? Oh yeah. See, they built a minimum security prison in my hometown, and the population started growing rapidly. But it's still a tiny little dusty farm town. Is you know, it didn't really change anything. It's just a lot more people there now. That, and I think they might actually be counting the prison population as part of the town's population.
Turn right at the traffic light.
Come on, people, now get it rolling. That stuff's gonna be red. Yep, it's going red before I even get to it. Oh, okay, it went green. I'm fine then. Just gonna keep on moving.
Continue on Nebraska Highway.
Yeah, this little part of the road is still just as bumpy today as it was 24 years ago. I don't think they've ever resurfaced it. Oop, everybody's stopping. I need to slow down. Wow. That doesn't normally happen. I don't normally catch both of those lights green back to back. I usually end up catching them both red. What is the big building on the right? Oh, don't forget, Joy, there's like a 30-second delay. Um, but that building there, I've picked up there before. It's a uh, frozen food warehouse. I do believe. There we go. Oh, look, there's an Arby's. You won't catch me eating there. Wow, they got a lot of people stuffed up in that swimming pool. It's only 89 degrees out, and it's pretty humid up here today. You know, this morning driving through, coming across the cornfields, it was really hazy out, and it wasn't fog, it wasn't smog, it wasn't smoke. It was just the humidity rising up off of the cornfields and dispersing into the atmosphere. A lot of people don't realize that corn produces some of the most humidity you're ever going to get, and you know that humidity. So, like, if you go through a lot of different humid areas, some humid areas are they just it's like you're wearing a big wet blanket, but in other areas it's like you're wearing a big wet sticky blanket, and that stickiness is actually coming from the corn. Yeah, some summer to make a little extra cash, and that's how I found that out. It's not good. Hello, Italian princess. Wow, why are they all slowing down that badly? There's no reason for that. They're all cars. They should have been going. Because cars accelerate a lot faster than semi-trucks do. The pressure. There's no pressure. There's too many people over in the DC train wreck mess that are live streaming today, so viewership is way down because people just can't seem to take their eyes off of the train wreck. A friend of mine, Wyckoff's, he mentioned the other day, when he's up there in DC and he's live streaming, he'll have anywhere from like 600 to 1,200 people watching at any one given time. But when he's back down in Florida, even though he's covering the Mar-a-Lago thing right now, when he's back down in Florida, he's lucky to see between 200 to 300 people at any one given time. Exactly. There's no reason to be nasty or negative. No reason. So what if you don't agree with somebody on something? You don't need to be nasty and negative about it. I like to try to invite people to come in, even if they have an opposing idea. Let's sit down and let's talk about it, because we'll be able to find middle ground. I'll bet you, no matter what idea it is that you have that is different or opposite of my idea, we both want the same thing in the end. So there's got to be some middle ground to the way you want to do it and the way I want to do it, and we can move forward with that instead of just your way or my way and that's it. Nothing in this life is set in stone. Nothing. except the day you die and they put that headstone over your grave. That is the only thing that is truly set in stone. And my rules are a little looser than anybody else's, that's for sure. Come on, people, that light's been green for a while. Urgh. And yeah, I'm kind of breaking the rules right now because technically I am not supposed to be in the left lane through the middle of this town. Oh, trust me, we get a lot of trolls once in a while. We get people that come in and start accusing me of being 1776 or accusing me of being for pedophiles or, just all kinds of stupid stuff. They just pop in and start spouting that and then they're gone. You know, those are the kind of people that I just plain block. I just block them because, I don't want anything to do with any of that. And does anybody really see me being with the 1776? I've never stepped foot on ground with them, not once. How does that make me a pedophile lover? I'm not. I don't agree with their lifestyle. I don't agree with their choices. I don't agree with what they do. Personally, I would love to see them all, excommunicated from this world. But the fact remains, they're still human beings, and they still deserve the same rights and the same freedoms as any other human being on the planet. Because solely for the fact that they're a human being. Now, barring that, the things that they did, in my opinion, they should lose the right to live. But that's my opinion. And everybody knows opinions are like a-holes. Everybody's got one. Anybody that thinks it's okay to be playing around with children is, I wouldn't even call them a human being in my own book, but that's beside the point. That's right, trolls will be trolls. And we try not to feed the trolls here. Now, here in a little bit, we get to find out whether we've got what kind of flooding we have down here. Because right before you get off of the 2 onto I-29, they got that river that runs through there, and quite often it floods. And you can usually tell right there how much flooding there is going to be further south. So I know last year, just south of where the 2 and the 29 meet, the right-hand lane on the southbound side of 29 was completely taken out. The flood had actually eroded away that part of the road last year. And I know this because I ran right into it. There we go. Finally through the construction zone. Bum, 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 bum. That is true. I cannot disagree. Because that was damage that's the kind of damage that most people, as soon as they realize that is there, they turn their backs on it and will never come back. So realistically, in my opinion, they technically shot themselves in the foot with that. I don't think I'll ever understand what the major attraction is to sitting in chairs on the lawn yelling at people. I mean, you have to think, realistically, did they even have a plan other than just going and sitting on the lawn? Because over all these weeks I watched, and they sat on the lawn, and maybe at first they did a little bit of, talking with the people and getting their little pamphlets passed out and things like that. But then it just became them sitting there all day, every day. And, there came a point when, like, Polish Agnes went down there. She had a plan. She had these big banners and flags and everything all made up. She brought them down, and she had gave them the idea of, marching all the way up to the Capitol building, and with a table and the banners and everything, and setting up and doing a thing there. And, she was there for 3 days for the weekend, and she put out the stuff and brought it out and gave them all the idea, and nobody wanted to do it. Nobody wanted anything to do with it. They wouldn't give her the time of day until that final day when Santa himself finally said, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go do that." But nobody wanted to do it. Nobody would listen. Nobody would. There are so many things they could have been doing. They didn't have to have people that came down on weekends give them ideas to go do things, and then not accept them until, well, maybe it's okay as long as Santa says that this is what we're going to do. I don't get it. And I doubt I ever will, because if I was down there, I wouldn't have been sitting in one place. I'd have been all over the place, and I'd have been spreading the word of, not that I agree with that particular word or all of it, but I would have been spreading the information around about the Constitution itself, what it is that they have turned on, what it is that they're trying to get rid of. I would have spread the word about the gun bans. I would have spread a word about, you know, everything that they're doing, and why those things are so crucial to the freedom of the people of this country, and we can't afford to lose them like what they're trying to do by taking them away. Um, I wouldn't necessarily have adhered to any of the religious side of their stuff because, well, I don't necessarily agree with all of it. I just don't. You have your religious view, I have mine. Enough said, right? So, I mean, the other thing is, one of the big things that I learned from having been with the People's Convoy, DC is not the place to be protesting. Nobody there is listening. The politicians don't listen. They look out their windows at whatever protest is outside, and they're laughing. They're laughing because they know that not a thing that you can say or do in DC that is going to take any effect at all. Nothing. If you want to really affect any kind of change in this country, you do it at your state levels. You get into your city hall, your city councils, your county seats. You get into your school boards. You work your way through every level of your state to help make or affect that change that needs to be made. So realistically, everybody should be spread out across all their own home states, pushing for the change that they're trying to think that they're pushing for in DC. DC is not the place for it. Because we can scream till we're blue in the face out in DC and never get a single, not a single politician's attention. Because in DC, you are not a threat to them. But at the state level, you are. Because at the state level, you can convince enough voters to swing the other way. Nothing there? Okay, I'm coming out. There we go. Get around this guy. Come on. There we go. Oh, come on, let me set it. Hey, John, how are you? Uh-oh. Come on. There we go. Got a little sensor on my brake pedal that actually connects to the cruise control. The sensor's wearing out, so I got to keep playing with it with my foot every once in a while in order to get it to realize that the brake isn't actually being pressed, so that I can set the cruise control. Sometimes I can just tap it one time with my foot and it takes care of it. Other times I got to play with it for quite a bit before it finally fixes it. I'll get a new sensor put in there one of these days. It's just one of those things that's not really that important because I can drive the vehicle without cruise control just fine. Right? Yeah, a group that size, even if we walk, I don't think even if we showed up with 3.5 million people, even if we showed up with 3.5 million people in DC, I don't think that it would affect any kind of change whatsoever. But it would do one thing. It would really open the eyes of everybody, not only in this country, but worldwide. And people would start taking notice and wondering on their own to see what is really going on and what happened. Why did we suddenly have 3 million people standing in DC? You know, at that point, it would become an effective change, but not within DC itself. It would have farther reaching ramifications further down the road within the state levels. But for now, the only way that we could hope to affect any kind of change politically is to be at the state levels. Period. There's nothing you can really do in DC. Nothing. Especially not with such a small group. And yeah, I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack for saying that here on my channel, but I got to call it like I see it. I got to call it like I see it because that's just the way it is. There's three things that really hurt that movement. One, they're too small. Two, they're too religious on one particular brand of religion. Okay? And three, some of the types of people that they had welcomed in and protected. You know, that really hurt them. All three of those things really hurt them. And I don't know if they can see it. I wish they could. But now that this has gone on as long as it has, even if they made changes to all of those things and started trying to make it more welcoming for everybody, I don't see it getting any bigger. I only see it getting smaller. So let's go ahead and do this here. Let me grab one of these cards. Man, this guy doesn't know how to let me go. Every time I get up to where I'm about to pass him, he comes back over. Just gotta get up and through, up and through. So, hey, Italian princess, you know you don't have to. You probably don't have to post that particular one right now. If you look at the top of the chat, there's a pin. I pinned it. I already pinned that video up there. I did that so that you didn't have to put that one out there. It frees you up to put out the other ones. Finally, as long as I don't see us, as long as we don't run into a state trooper, I can finally get past these guys and this guy can quit cutting me off. I think I'm all right. No, you're not. You just didn't notice it. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Just want to get up past these guys, and then I got a card I'm going to show to the camera. Only thing that gets me though is these hills keep slowing me down a bit. Hey, look, Joy, there's another Runza. There's another Runza up on this exit. There we go. Finally. Let me get a little bit more speed here on the downhill and then come over. There we go. Alright. Making you hungry, huh? How long does, if you order some and have it shipped on dry ice, how long does it take from the time you order it to the time you have it in your house down there in Texas? Around. All right, got a little card to show off here. Whoops, I don't know if I can hold it still enough while driving. And then we're going to flip it around, show the back side. Well, yeah, it'd be a good treat for you, Joy. It'd be a good treat, wouldn't it? Get a little taste of home. Runza is a restaurant that's all over Nebraska. It's Runza. It's the name of the restaurant. Hmm. And now I'm really going to have to stop at one of these days, especially knowing that they've got German food, because I love German food and Russian food. I love, if anybody ever asks me what my favorite food is, my normal answer is just food. I love food. If it's considered food in any country, or if it's considered food by anybody else out there and it's actually edible, if it's considered edible and it's considered food, I'll eat it. I like it. It's food. Are definitely some of the different foods from different countries. And most American food these days just doesn't have really much flavor to it. Yes, it was. That I do know. It was settled by. So was North and South Dakota. North and South Dakota were settled by a lot of Germans. Settled by a lot of Germans. When my grandfather on my dad's side, as a child from Germany, his family originally moved into North Dakota. And they started farming out there. And by the time he was an adult, he had moved over to Washington State, was in World War I and World War II, met my grandmother, um, and then, bought a farm out there in eastern Washington State. Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, here the other day, I was actually I was in a Ukrainian. It was a Ukrainian grocery store up there in Fife, Washington. It's really nice. Interesting to see the different foods. You kind of know what they are because of the pictures or because of what the product is, but you can't read the label. Still good food. And they have a little deli in there, so you can get some of the stuff that, instead of buying the stuff, taking it home and cooking it up yourself, you can get some of it's already cooked up right there. Nice and easy. I go in there once in a while and grab a lunch while I'm switching loads around, because that's it's literally only a couple of blocks away from the window and door manufacturer that I have a contract with. Yeah, making everybody hungry, huh? Even my little dog Sid is getting hungry. He's looking at food, Dad. You're talking about food. What are we eating, Dad? What are we eating? How about some bacon bits? You got any bacon? I got bacon bit. I got some bacon strips for you here, bud. Let me dig them out real quick. How about how about that, huh? Let me get this. Gotta get this out of the way real quick. Oh, lost my cruise control because the stupid brake pedal bounced. I gotta get that. Gotta get that fixed eventually. There we go. Now I can open up that bag. Dogs don't know it's not bacon. There you go. Have a couple of them. There you go, bud. It's you a good snack because we're gonna get you some lunch here soon. When I take my break, we'll get you out, get you some lunch. You can do your P meal everywhere. $2 miles to a scale house that's it's in the middle of the highway. All right, this guy is gonna start getting annoying. There we go. Get me up past him. Ugh. Bye, dude. Bye bye. There we go. Favorite foods. Man, I like all food. Food, yummy food. I made everybody hungry and they all ran off to go cook something to eat, huh? Oh yeah, you just saw that I just passed that Arbor Day sign, didn't you? Football and Arbor Day. That's it, huh? Oh, I'm sure there's a lot more than just football and Arbor Day. All right, Iowa. We're almost into Iowa now. Yeah, they have bars. They have bars. They have cornfields and rivers. They have dirt races too, you know. Dirt tracks. I've seen a few different dirt tracks around in Nebraska. Hello, D-Roz. How are you? Oh, I love Italian food. All right. How's the flooding down here look? It's not so bad. River looks about where it's supposed to. Doesn't look like it's really all that high at all. It looks normal. Now see, was it last year and the year before? Right about here, up to the license plate on that van would have been underwater. Because all of this was underwater last year and the year before. It flooded 2 years in a row. And it floods here very commonly, a lot actually, and that's why they've been doing all this construction here, because they're trying to figure out how to raise the highway enough so that they don't have to just have the highway closed every time it floods. Dun, 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 dun.
In 1.25 miles, take the exit on the right to I-29 South for Kansas City.
Oh, you're talking about my salute to the Tim Zach. Yeah, Tim Zach. He's a good guy. Good music. Good music.
Take the exit on the right to I-29 South for Kansas City.
Ah, okay. Well, first time I'd ever heard of him was when we drove past his. We drove past him on the highway today, so we had to take a listen to his music earlier today. Really good. Never heard of him before that. Here we go. Get us up on I-29. We are now in Iowa. Just gotta get on into Missouri, get onto the 435, and then over onto the 70 in Missouri. I'm hoping I can get to the other get. I'm hoping I can get past St. Louis today, but we'll see. I may end up stopped just this side of St. Louis. Wow. That's cool. Yeah. It's always find out that somebody you know is actually in a band that's becoming popular. You should you should actually listen to some of the music there, Joy. It's really good. I am not a country fan. There's only a few country songs here and there that I like, but everything that I heard today his stuff was really good. So he's actually been added to my playlist. There we go. Yep. So basically, we coming down the highway there in Nebraska, come up against this guy's. It's a little travel trailer that he's pulling behind his pickup, and the travel trailer's like wrapped. It's got this wrapping on it that's got his name, and then it's got a big picture of him. And it's like, wonder what that is. We were figuring it out and found out he was a country singer, and so about the time we find out he's a country singer, I'm passing him. So I gave him my train horns a bit and kept on going, and then we ended that live stream and started a new one and titled it a salute to Tim Zach, and we played a few of his songs and put his information out there. Because before that, yeah, I'll bet it was. I'll bet it was. It's always it's always amazing to see a singer or a popular star of some kind actually interact with children and make their day, brighten up their day, brighten up whatever it is they're going through. Yeah, you can send the link to me. If you've got a video that you can link for what you wanted to show me there, you can send it to my email. I'll take a look. Yeah, see, last couple of years, everything right here was all underwater, including this road. And see up ahead here when we get into this construction, that's where the right lane that I'm in right now, the right lane was completely washed away. See, that's the other thing. It didn't just wash away the right lane. It also took this bridge out. This little bridge here that we're about to go over. It took it out completely. They've been working on it long. I don't know if we'll still be able to see some of the sections where even the shoulder was just taken away, but it's been a while since I come down this little stretch. And this whole area is considered a flood zone, and it floods quite often. But all these people still live here. If I lived in an area that flooded as often as this does, and I lost everything I owned continuously all the time, I wouldn't want to live here. I'd move away. Yep, there we go. I guess they're still working on fixing the road that got washed away. Yep, because they had to redo both of these bridges. I think they just finished this side and then they started doing the other. Because that river that we're crossing right now was above where I am in my cab right now. So even the camera right now would have been underwater. All right. Got a green light. Yeah, see, I just don't know how anybody can move back into a house after a house was underwater. And these people do. They just move right back in. I don't understand. If it were me, I'd move away. So in the last couple of minutes, we were in Nebraska, then we were in Iowa, and now we're in Missouri. Why is that saying East Carmen? East Cameron, huh? Yep. We just went through 3 states in just the last few minutes. There was one day many years back, my daughter asked me, you know, driving on certain days where all you do is you get up and you drive to the end of the day, and then you get done because you haven't made it to where you're going to deliver yet. She says, she asked if I even bothered getting dressed, if I was in my pajamas or what while I'm driving. I said, yeah, dear. There are some times where I will drive through 7 states in an afternoon just wearing my pajamas. Especially if you're back east. Because I can go through 7 I can cross the state border 7 different times in an afternoon in a heartbeat over there. And yeah, there are some days where I'll get up in the morning and I just don't feel like getting out of my pajamas because I'm comfortable. And I'll just drive that way all day. Not a big deal. It's not like I'm getting out and mingling. I gotta check that. I have 2 hours before I have to stop and take that mandatory half-hour break. So we can go ahead and stop anytime I want right now. Get that done. Yeah, 6 miles ahead, exit 110. That sounds like a good one. The Dusty Trail. That's a new Petro, I think, RTA, one of the two. Same company, but so exit 610. Oh, look. There's a billboard. There's an old farm billboard that's not being used. At least not on this side. What's it got on that side? Watson State Champion Eagles. Okay. That's what it says. Wow. Some of these farmers need to get out here and sandblast their irrigation circle equipment, sandblast it and repaint it because it's getting pretty rusty from having been underwater.